Home Alone, America's favorite Christmas movie about a darling 8-year-old boy from Chicago.
Hello.
Who gets left home alone by his parents.
I made my family disappear.
But today, as parenting experts, we're going to probably be looking at this movie in a way that you've never thought of before, through the lens of a parent.
No parents. Probably a fancy orphanage.
As part of our series of parenting experts react to parenting in the movies, you need to stick around to the very end, because at the end, we're going to give not only mom and dad a parenting grade, but we're going to give Kevin a parenting grade as well.
You will never watch movies the same after you start thinking of movies through a parenting point of view. And instead of enjoying those favorite scenes, you might be cringing instead.
Pete's brother and his family are here. Oh, it's crazy.
You know, Tricia's going to Montreal.
Montreal?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's right. Her family's there.
And then we're off.
When do you leave? You're not ready, are you?
Mom, Uncle Frank won't let me watch the movie, but the big kids can. Why can't I?
Kevin, I'm on the phone. When do you come back? Not till then.
It's not even rated R. He's just being a jerk.
Kevin, if Uncle Frank says no, then it must be really bad. No, we're not bringing the dog. Put it in the kennel for the... Hey! Get off. Kevin, out of the room.
Hang up the phone and make me, why don't you?
Okay, so we got a lot to go over. Why don't you start?
All right, first you have a child coming in and interrupting his parents on the phone, his mom on the phone.
In a whiny tone.
In a whiny tone, and that shows a very self-focused child.
Yeah, not a lot of respect going on here in this scene.
No. And he's not taught how to interrupt properly.
Yeah.
And he's just thinking about what I want to say and
Yeah.
what I want to get across.
So one of the things that you can do is you can actually teach your children to come up, put your hand on you while you're on the phone, and then they put their hand on your hand, recognizing that, hey, I see you, and you're going to wait till I get off the phone to address your issue.
Right. So, and then second of all, we've got this mother giving instruction to her child, and she says, get out of the room, and you can't watch the movie, and obviously she's busy. So, that's one thing.
It's the day before a big vacation. I get it, but this is definitely, no time to not do what you say. So what we see her doing is giving instruction and not following through. She gives another instruction, doesn't follow through, and then Kevin just has, hey, why don't you make me, which is crazy kind of back talk.
Which really shows how little she follows through with her instruction. Because when a child sees you giving instruction after instruction and you never follow through, what respect do they have for you?
Yep.
They can't trust a word that you say.
They have no reason to.
Any chance pick up the voltage adapter thing?
No, I didn't have time to do that.
Well, how am I supposed to shave in France?
Grow a goatee.
Dad, nobody let me do anything.
Bye.
You don't have anything to do? I got something for you to do. You can pick up those micro machines that are all over in there. Aunt Leslie stepped on one and almost broke her neck.
He was in the garage again playing with the glue gun.
Didn't we talk about that?
Did I burn down the joint? I don't think so. I was making ornaments out of fish hooks.
My new fish hooks?
I can make ornaments out of the old ones with dry worm guts stuck on them.
Peter.
Come on, Kevin. Out.
Peter, Kate, do you guys have a voltage adapter?
Here's a voltage adapter.
You're getting heavy. Go, Pat.
Oh boy. So a classic case of mommy said no, so I'm going to go and ask daddy.
Yep. One thing I did like about the dad here is that he said it's time to go, and he actually physically took Kevin out of the room.
At least
he didn't obey. At least he did something.
He made
about
him
it.
do something.
Yeah. But the other thing I want to go back to is how Kevin didn't have respect for the things that he was using. He was leaving items out. He was using things that he didn't have permission to use.
Yeah.
And our children need need to be getting permission or being respectful about those things.
Yeah, for sure. You need to have house rules. And one of our house rules is ask permission, right? We don't just go and get dad's brand new stuff and start doing what we want there for sure. All right, so next we see Kevin and the cousins and the brothers and sisters are running around trying to pack their suitcase. Now remember, Kevin is 8 years old, all right? So he's old enough to be able to do some things, but clearly what we're going to see is he hasn't been taught or trained how to do this. So let's watch this clip.
Excuse me, Pupils, I'm a lot smaller than you. I don't know how to pack a suitcase.
Hey, I hope you didn't just pack crap, Jeff.
Shut up, Lenny.
Do you know what I should pack?
Buzz told you, cheap face. Toilet paper and water.
Listen, Kev, what are you so worried about? You know Mom's gonna pack your stuff anyway. You're what the French call les incompetents.
What?
Okay.
Wow, now we're insulting our brothers and sisters in different languages, right? And what's really clear is the friction between the brothers and sisters. I mean, it's clear that the parents aren't making them like be kind to each other or do anything like that at all.
Right. And given this is a stressful situation.
It is
a stressful situation.
It is.
And when we're in stressful situations, we tend to just let our mouths spew out whatever we want. But we can teach our kids to be kind to one another and say kind things and talk in a kind tone. And I'm not sure that is a part of this family's general rules in their house.
Right. And when it's a stressful situation and it's the language is that bad, it shows kind of, it speaks volumes to the lack of training that doesn't go on. If you train in the time of non-conflict and have rules, the bad should never really be this bad. Right.
And the other aspect of this is that Kevin has not been trained, and I'm not sure the other kids have either, it sounds like.
He's just sticking his toothbrush in his pocket.
Right.
And,
they've never been taught how to pack their suitcase. Now, an 8-year-old should be capable of doing some of those things by themselves. Now, a great way to do that is to give your kids a list and say, you need to pack these things. And by the time they're 8 years old, they will, if they've been given time to do that and practice that, they should be able to just have a list and complete that on their own.
And then what we see is the girl in the pink, the sister or cousin, and she says kind of the magic phrase. She says, Kevin, Mom's going to do this for you anyways.
Yes.
Right? So he doesn't really, that's probably true. And he doesn't really have any incentive to learn because Mom's going to
be the rescuer.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're coming to the infamous pizza scene. And this is where tensions are running ultra high, and Buzz, Kevin's brother, eats all the cheese pizza and leaves nothing for Kevin, and things just start to blow up.
You all right?
What is the matter with you?
He started it. He ate my pizza on purpose. He knows I ate sausage and olives and
Look what you
onions
did, you little jerk.
Okay, so now we've got Mom, whose tensions are super high.
She is red hot.
She is red hot, and she is reacting out of her emotions and only her emotions. And you see her grabbing Kevin, being physical with Kevin, and spewing out a lot of anger. So is this really even parenting? I think this is more like fighting.
This is rage. Like, this is rage at its finest. Anger, grabbing your children.
You can't even qualify this as parenting.
No.
And at best, it's very poor parenting.
Yeah.
Parenting out of anger.
Yep. So then we see Kevin do the classic 8-year-old move.
He started it.
And listen, even if your other child starts it, which they're always going to, teach your children what to do if your other child starts it.
Yeah.
Right?
And I almost feel bad for Kevin here because so much rage is coming down on him and his parents, his aunts and uncles. No one is taking the time to find out what actually did happen. And he's left in a position of having to just defend himself. There's no fair trial here.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we see is the aunts and uncles are the adults in the room with, how toxic they are. Look what you did, you little jerk. And clearly we see that being passed down to all of their children and them interacting in the same manner. Mm-hmm. So then the scene continues to where she brings Kevin upstairs from dinner from the pizza mess, and they have one of the most infamous conversations in the movie. Let's take a look.
There are 15 people in this house. You're the only one who has to make trouble.
I'm the only one getting dumped on.
You're the only one acting up. Now, get upstairs.
I am upstairs, dummy. The third floor?
Okay. So I think number one here is that we have to recognize, mom is actually coming down. If you watch the clip a little bit further, she's actually coming down from her fits of rage, which is good. So she has a little bit more of control over her tone, but a lot of her words are still filled with venom. She also says that there are 15 people in this house and you're the only one making trouble. Well, that's not true. So this shows you that mom doesn't actually know what's happening in the house.
She certainly didn't bring Buzz and Kevin upstairs from what we know about. Anytime children fight, whatever's going on, they both are part of the situation. It doesn't matter who started it or who did more or who poked harder. Both children are guilty as charged of not, for whatever reason, behaving appropriately.
Right, and I think that just shows that we need to be investigating these situations, and that has really led to a lot of Kevin's frustration, which has him have this outburst of rage at his mother. Not justifiable, that's not okay, but he just feels stuck right now. He feels stuck because his mom's not doing her job.
Yeah, and he doesn't necessarily know how to deal with those emotions except fight back. Mom obviously does, or at least should, and certainly, and the relationship that just creates this toxic relationship that Kevin has with his mother.
Go.
It's scary up there.
Don't be silly. Fuller will be up in a little while.
I don't want a super Fuller. You know about him. He wets the bed. He'll pee all over me. I know it.
Fine. We'll put him somewhere else.
I'm sorry.
It's too late. Get upstairs.
Everyone in this family hates me.
Then maybe you should ask Santa for a new family.
I don't want a new family. I don't want any family. Families suck.
Just stay up there. I don't want to see you again for the rest of the night.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I don't want to see anybody else either.
I hope you don't mean that. You'd feel pretty sad if you woke up tomorrow morning and you didn't have a family.
No, I wouldn't.
Then say it again. Maybe it'll happen.
I hope I never see any of you jerks again.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
This is just, again, full of hate. And what we see is, we actually see Kevin try to do just another classic 8-year-old move and play the, once it's time for punishment, I'm sorry, which, here's what you have to understand. Children do what works. And, my guess is that works most of the time, because Kevin will know he can just go out and do whatever he wants. He says, I'm sorry to mom, and mom will give in. And she even says, that's not going to work this time.
Yeah, it's too little too late, and it's not genuine either. One thing that I am pleased to see is that mom actually followed through with her consequence. So she made him go upstairs, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, and there was actually a legitimate concern. When your child is in trouble or something happens and there's a legitimate concern like, hey, you want me to sleep with someone who pees the bed. That's not a mess mom wants to clean up either. So she actually makes provision for that, which I thought was nice as well. But Kevin was, no matter what, going upstairs, and that was a good follow through.
Yeah. And back to his behavior towards his mother and his language towards his mother. Yeah, we see that even though he was removed from the situation, that language did not receive any kind of extra consequence. That was not talked about, how that was inappropriate. It wasn't dealt with. His behavior from downstairs and acting up, that was dealt with, but not his language and his disrespect towards his mother. So that definitely needs to be dealt with.
Yep.
What kind of mother am I?
Here we see actually a little remorse now that she's realized that she's forgotten Kevin at home. I wish she was having the what kind of mother am I thoughts on the way she's been parenting so far. Apparently it took, leaving Kevin home alone, forgetting their child to have any type of introspective thoughts so far on her parenting.
Yeah.
So as time goes on in the movie, we cut back to Kevin, who's home doing all kinds of crazy things. But this is kind of an endearing scene in the movie. It's actually almost kind of sad. He's laying in bed and he gets out of the picture of his family and he says this.
I didn't mean it. If you come back, I'll never be a pain in the butt again. I promise. Good night.
And this is a classic scene with a lot of children because, look, children know something's wrong. They can sense that. And they want to be functioning peacefully in a family. But parents need to help give children boundaries so that they can function together in a harmonious family. I mean, we know that the scene in the stairs when Kevin's like, I never want to see you again and I hate my family and all this. We know he doesn't mean it. And we know children want to have that authority and structure in their lives. And we as parents have to give it to them.
Right. And I think that if mom and dad would have been doing their job all along and putting the pain where it should have been, we had, they didn't do that. And so we had to come to this massively painful event of my family's gone for days for me to actually feel something, to actually realize and admit where I'm wrong and what I really desire. But those consequences along the way and dealing with that behavior along the way will help keep our children's hearts soft so that they know that they do want to be in harmony with the family. And that's a good place to be. He's not experienced. He doesn't experience much of that. It doesn't appear.
No, he's on a really long leash and doesn't experience that at all. Mm-hmm. So next, we're going to kind of showcase Kevin's actual abilities.
Well, someone has to find an open store. We don't even have milk here.
I went shopping yesterday.
You shopping?
I got the milk, eggs, and fabric softener.
No kidding.
I mean, 8 years old, it's not too old or too young. It's a great age to where he's really capable of doing things, and it actually comes out in the movie. And I really wish his parents would embrace him and teach him more and instruct, because Kevin's actually a really smart, capable kid. Let's take a look. All right, so here we see Kevin knowing and understanding what's in the fridge, what's getting low. He knows where the store is. He knows how to go get it and does a really great job.
I think this shows us, 8-year-old kids can be capable of things. I also really like, if you continue watching this scene, how he interacts with the checkout person.
Yep.
And he is very mature in his response. Now, he lies. So let's just put that aside for now. But, he is having great mature conversation with an adult, and that's what we want to teach our kids. We want to teach them how to be able to not just talk to kids their age, but speak to adults and be mature. So this just goes to show me, she should have just given him a list and he can pack his own bag, right?
Yeah, he totally can pack his own bag.
Yeah, if he can go grocery shopping and do all these things, he can pack his own suitcase.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else Kevin can do. All right, so enter the wet bandits, right? Harry and Marv. But look, Kevin is doing the dishes.
He's doing the dishes. And he knows to keep the doors locked, too.
Yeah, the doors are locked.
Safety and...
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
doing great.
Totally capable.
Yeah.
Hey, Marv. Look at this.
All right, classic scene of they need a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It's Christmas time.
Well, this might make some parents uncomfortable because you have an 8-year-old boy with a saw sawing down, that's sharp, it's dangerous.
Probably requires a little supervision, maybe.
But I think when you teach your kids and you get to that point of knowing that they know how to use something, then we can trust them with more and more. So, who knows? Maybe his dad spent the time and taught him how to use a saw and proper safety, and that would be okay. I would still have some adult supervision in there, in real life circumstances.
Yeah, but regardless, he knew what he was doing, and again,
man,
he's capable of so much.
Okay, here in this scene, we see Kevin talking to Santa Claus and giving him his vital information that all kids need to know.
I'm Kevin McAllister, 671 Lincoln Boulevard. Do you need the phone number?
That's right.
Okay.
So if you have young children, they need to know their first name, their last name, their phone number, how to get a hold of mommy, and where they live, just for sheer safety reasons.
Yeah, and I think this can be taught around ages 3 and 4, depending on your child's ability and maturity level. We also need to address that Kevin's giving his information to a stranger. Probably not the wisest thing, but I'm glad that he knows this information.
Yeah, so ask your kids tonight at dinner when you're watching it. Ask them what their address is, their name, phone number, all that kind of stuff, and comment below what you find out. Not your information, but if they know it or not. So the story continues. Kevin's at home and he gets followed by the wet bandits, and he runs inside the church and he sits down and he sees that scary guy with the garbage can that is from their neighborhood that supposedly killed everyone in the neighborhood and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But here we see a really, really sweet moment from Kevin. Let's take a look.
I've been kind of a pain lately. I said some things I shouldn't have. I really haven't been too good this year.
Yeah.
I'm kind of upset about it because I really like my family. Even though sometimes I say I don't. Sometimes I even think I don't. Do you get that?
I think so. How you feel about your family is a complicated thing.
Especially with an older brother.
Okay, so I think we see here that Kevin is starting to show remorse, and it really shows his desire for that peaceful family and that intimate relationship with his parents and his siblings. Unfortunately, it has taken this event to bring about this remorse, but he really wants to experience that day-to-day peace and harmony in the home.
Right. Just like we saw him in the bed, have those types of feelings. Kevin's definitely on an emotional roller coaster, and it would just be so good if mom and dad would sit down and be the leaders and communicate with Kevin and help him sort through these thoughts that he's having and get everyone on the same page and really start to get gelling.
Right. And I think that when parents and our whole family is in this toxic state of mind, our walls are always up so that we never can get to that point of humility. But when, on the flip side, when parents can show humility themselves and they can show that peace and that kindness, even when our child is being naughty, that will bring our children to that place of humility so much faster and more easily.
Yep. All right, so we're almost to the end of the movie where mom gets reunited with Kevin, and John Candy gives her a ride home with the blues band, and this is what mom has to say about things so far.
I'm a bad parent. I'm a bad parent.
You're not. You're beating yourself up there. Well, this happens. This thing happens. You want to talk about bad parents? Look at us. I mean, we're on the road 48, 49 weeks out of the year. We hardly see our families.
So here, I can probably only assume that she's talking about the big event of leaving Kevin home. Yes. Maybe, hopefully, she's introspecting about the way she's treated the family, her toxicity as a parent, but probably not.
I don't know. If you go on, she does talk about, have you ever gone on vacation and left your child at home? So I think she's only talking about this event. And that's unfortunate because there is so much more to parenting than these big events. And sometimes we have these big blow-ups or these big things that happen, and we feel really bad about those things. But it's all these little things that lead up to the big events.
Yep. And then when we feel sorry, we still don't go back and fix all those little things. We just are doomed to repeat them again because we never worked through them. We just kind of worked around them, and it kind of remains a mess. And that's why if you feel like you've tried everything or you're in a rut, you probably just continue to go over things again and again without actually fixing them or making them better.
Right.
All right, so here we see one of the final scenes of the movie where mom finally walks in, finally walks back to Kevin, and let's watch what happens.
Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so I am glad that they've come back together and they have this reunion that's affectionate and loving, and she has affection for Kevin and he has affection for her.
Yep.
And that is a very good thing. I'm so glad that they love each other. And it seems like they are coming to a point of reconciling. However, parenting is so much more than our feelings and our physical affection for one another. And that, while physical affection, our feelings, all of that is important in our parenting with our kids, and it's important to show our children love, that isn't the whole picture. There is so much more to it. You know, there's training and there's discipline and there's instruction. And it's not just affection that is going to teach our kids to be responsible and to be great adults and to be loving people.
Yep. All right. So now it's our favorite part of grading the parents and grading Kevin. So let's start with grading the parents. What do you say?
You know
is
what?
It an F?
I give mom and dad a D.
All right, we'll give them a D. We'll let them pass barely.
Barely. Some good things that a mom had going for her, and we don't see a whole lot of dad, so I'm just going to talk about mom. Some good things that she had going for her are she does love her child.
Yep.
She does love her child. She shows him affection. She does whatever it takes to get back to him, which is a good thing, right? It shows that she really cares about him when things are bad. The other thing that I really thought was a good thing was that she did gain her self-control. And while some of her comments were off and they made Kevin feel guilty, and which we shouldn't do, she did bring herself back down out of that state of rage. So I think that's good, but she has a long way to go. Long way to go.
What kind of mother am I?
All right, so now let's grade Kevin. I had Kevin kind of like B. You know, I mean, he look at all the things he did. He went grocery. He's got all the skills. He's got a solid foundation. Like, if someone would just work with him, he'd be great.
Yeah. And I will say that I think his family has been quite unfair to him. That has driven him to a point of desperation to always need to feel like he has to validate and excuse his behavior, and he has to lash out just to be heard. So I will give him that. However, he doesn't really control himself. He is horribly disrespectful to his parents. He's not kind to his brothers and sisters. And when it comes to, I mean, in a moment of desperation, he will take care of himself when he needs to. But if there's an escape, like mom will pack my bags, he won't do it.
Yeah, I guess if you really take in what we saw and not filling in any of the gaps, he's not a B. He's probably a C minus. He's better. He's in better shape than mom and dad.
Well, I think it's because of mom and dad that he's in the shape that he's in. He definitely needs some respect training, but I think with some proper follow through with mom and dad's consequences and training, I think that he would be much better off.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a C too.
Yes.
All right, guys, there you have it. Parenting Experts Review Parenting in the Movies. I hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for lots of good parenting tips and advice. And remember, the strongest influence in the life of your child wins, and we want that to be you.
Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this time as much as we have, and comment below and let us know what movie you think we should do next.
Ooh, all right. We'll see you on the next one.